The land of sun and sea isn't done being pummeled by rain and wind. They're calling it the Pineapple Express. As the rain moves out of the northern California and the flooded streets reopen, now the problems shift 400 miles south, where the same storm is hitting the LA area. Sonoma County officials are declaring mandatory evacuation orders, expecting massive mudslides. Several residents in the area took to the hardware store, buying wood and nails to build homemade barriers in front of their yard and keep the mud off their property while they're away. And that's not all. Rockslides, floods, and raging rivers all creating havoc. At least 2 homes along the shore already gave way, destroyed by the massive waves. Once the rain moves out, finally California will get a few days of sunny skies. Streets have been officially cleared after a 75-day protest in Hong Kong. Protesters now fear severe penalties, maybe in the future, for demonstrations. Hong Kong currently is run separate from Chinese regulators. The Umbrella Movement is the name given to protesters pushing for a free election in Hong Kong. The group is now concerned that Hong Kong will no longer keep their judicial independence from China. In June last year, China published a paper stating they alone hold supreme authority over Hong Kong. After a divided lower court discussion in Canada, a decision was made. Police are now allowed to search phone contents after a suspect has been arrested. A case in the Supreme Court of Canada ruled in the defendant's favor dealt with a similar issue. Kevin Fearon was convicted of robbery with a firearm. During the time Fearon was in custody of police, his phone was searched without a warrant. Pictures that implicated him with the crime scene were enough to press charges. Fearon's appeal was denied. This case shed light on how future situations should be handled. The U.S. has decided on a similar case, an opposite verdict. The U.S. ruled as a unanimous decision, phones must not be searched without a warrant. A Virgin Airlines flight from Australia to Indonesia has given passengers quite a scare. A Virgin Airlines flight was mid-air when Matt Lockley left his seat for the front of the plane. According to witnesses, Lockley was banging on the cockpit door, demanding entry. Worried that there might have been a possible hijacking, the plane sent out a distress signal out to Indonesian airport authorities. After landing, Indonesia police arrested Lockley. According to Virgin Airlines, Lockley was drunk and acting aggressive. According to Lockley, he confused the cockpit for the lavatory. That's all for your international news. I will be bringing you your national news since Midge is out for the day. On Capitol Hill, a bill to keep the government in business now goes to the Senate after passing the House by a 13-point margin. Yeah, it was close. Majority Leader Harry Reid hopes to get it to the president's desk before the end of Friday, but that might not happen. Passage of the bill came after a full court press by President Obama and Speaker John Boehner. It took some prodding from the White House, but 57 House Democrats joined more than 160 Republicans in passing $1 trillion spending bill. Despite some unwanted add-ons, retiring Virginia Democrat Jim Moran said it's a good bill.
And 74 Democrats voted for it, and they tend to be the more knowledgeable. I know that Maxine Waters feels very strongly, and I appreciate her position. But this, if we let this bill go down, it's a travesty. And in 3 months, the Democrats are going to look back and ask, what did we do to ourselves and to our constituents?
Other Democrats, like Texas Lloyd Doggett, held out over an easing regulation on risky bank trades. All told, 144 Democrats in the House voted to shut the government down. That will not happen, at least not for now. The yes vote cleared the way for a final showdown in the Senate. But the $1 trillion spending bill didn't leave the House without making some waves. There are some hard feelings growing on Capitol Hill. Serious bitterness starting to show up between top Democratic leaders. House Minority Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi spoke ill of the White House and criticized the president, like we have rarely heard in the past. She says she's enormously disappointed in the White House-supported bill. Pelosi says Democrats gave up too much in this debate particularly talking about rolling back some key provisions of Dodd-Frank, those Wall Street bank regulations put into practice after the recession in 2008. Before Thursday night's deadline, lawmakers passed a stopgate bill to keep the government running for at least another 48 hours. But as we're starting to find out, this bill raised some fighting between Republicans, too. Tea Party conservatives who wanted to stop the bill's immigration order found themselves in an unfamiliar, awkward alliance with liberal Democrats who were opposed to changing Wall Street reform. They came together and almost derailed the bill in the House. They fell just 13 votes short of shutting the government down. Now that the bill is moving on to the Senate, liberal Elizabeth Warren and ultra-conservative Ted Cruz both have plans to fight the bill, but many political analysts doubt they will be able to mount enough opposition to topple it.